This week in the studio, we are turning this into these. And I'm going to show you my entire process, including my successes and my fails. Welcome back to the studio, my creative friends. After seeing my videos using J. Diction's Resin Eco Resin pouring medium, Let's Resin, the company Let's Resin, reached out to me and said, hey, would you try ours? They have a light kind eco resin and they wanted me to give it a try because they saw how much fun I was having, and I just said, heck yeah, send it on over. So it's not sponsored, however they did send me this kit to try it out and see what I could create, and claims to be non-toxic and odorless, and it's supposed to cure in about 30 minutes. Of course, it comes with your eco resin. They call it Magic Pour by Let's Resin. It is a gypsum mineral based eco resin, and it's a great beginner's kit, and it is a 3-to-1 ratio. It's a powder that you just mix with water, and they also give you some mixing cups, some acrylic paints that you can mix into it, an awesome mixing stick, which you can never have too many of these. They give you 3 different molds, and this oval trinket dish mold is exactly what I've been looking for, so this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to do with this kit today. Just wait. They also provide you with some sandpaper, because a lot of times with this eco resin you can sand off your projects to smooth them out. Inside the Magic Pour, you'll find your instructions and a scoop. And they do recommend wearing mask and safety gear, which I normally do anyway because I'm sensitive to things. And you might even want some glasses or safety goggles if you're worried about powder or pigments floating up into your eyes. I'm going to be compiling a whole bunch of supplies in my studio for this project, and we're just going to wing it and see how it goes. But I'm going to get out my Let's Resin chameleon flakes because they're super pretty. And I'm going to try some glitters and some glitter glass. I love the diamond dust. They're like little tiny shards of crystal-y glass. I'm also going to use some of my chameleon mica pigments. I love these. They're color shifting. They're beautiful. And I'm going to do some copper leaf, which I used in a previous pour, and it turned out pretty cool. I'm going to take out my oval tray mold and just start applying things to it. Because it's silicone, this copper leaf will stick right to it. Now in the vase that I did, the copper leaf came right off, and it embedded into the eco resin, creating like little crevices and cracks, which were really cool. I'm kind of hoping this will do the same thing. Now, for that project, I used Resin Create by J. Diction, but let's see what happens when we use Let's Resin Magic Pour. I'm going to work at a diagonal direction. I'm going for what I hope is a stone geode sort of a look. And this is my first attempt, so stay tuned for my second attempt. That's my favorite. It's beautiful. And don't forget to add your materials into the edges and the rim so that it kind of goes up and over the edge and looks more organic that way. Next up, I'm going to sprinkle some diamond dust along that same vein of color. My inspiration for this project came from Chickley Reclaimed Decor. She has a YouTube channel. She made the most beautiful trays out of eco resin, and I wanted to try to see if I could figure out how to do this too. And now I'm going to get my color shifting chameleon flakes out. These are by Let's Resin. Look how beautiful this is. The only problem with this stuff is it floats everywhere. So I would definitely be wearing some kind of a mask and eye protection when you use this. It's beautiful, but it just floats all over the place. And it clings to the silicone, so it's kind of has a mind of its own. So I'm gonna clean up around the edges where I don't want it. Now I'm gonna go in with my chameleon mica powders. And don't worry, I'm gonna put links to all of these supplies down in the description under the video. Just click that drop down arrow or click more and you'll see links, supplies, and there's even some discount coupon codes on some of these items for you. And now I'm gonna put down some of my gold glitter and I'm just gonna keep piling it on. Too many colors to choose from. I think Magnolia Sunset. And what I'm hoping to achieve is that where I have all of these little piles of glitters and mica flakes, that it's going to create indentations. It's going to look like stone with some veins of crystals and colors going through it. That's what I'm after anyway. I'm going to get ready and get this magic pour mixing. I'm doing about 200 grams of the powder to 66 grams of water. They tell you to stir for about 2 to 3 minutes and it should be water-like. Mine's definitely thicker than water-like, but I like that because that means maybe it won't make my pigments and glasses run all over the place. So I think it's perfect. Obviously, you could water it down a little bit more. I must not have got my measurements perfect. I'm also going to add a little bit of this raw umber acrylic paint that came with the kit because I don't want it to be stark white. I want it to be more stone-like. And when I put it in, it didn't blend in, which was perfect because it looked more like speckled granite stone, which was exactly what I was going for. And then I'm just gonna pour my mold to the top. And you can see some of those mica powders are floating to the back, which is not a big deal because it's the back. You can demold this in 25 to 30 minutes, but I recommend you wait a little longer when you're blending in all these things to demold it. You can demold it after 30 minutes, but I've noticed with this eco resin that it discharges quite a bit of water and sometimes you have to damp that up with a paper towel. But I'm gonna let mine sit for 24 hours because of what I'm going to do next. What I like to do is loosen my edges, flip it over and demold it from the back. That way there's less chance of it cracking or breaking, which it's really sturdy. There's no way it's gonna do that, but I hadn't used this before and I was being extra careful. Isn't that beautiful? However, the point is not to leave it looking like this, but to excavate a bit and see what's underneath. Well, you can see that it did not pick up the gold leaf, and I know why. Because I put so much stuff over the top of the gold leaf, there was not a chance for it to interact with it. So that's a tip for you. So I've got a really thick, bristled, coarse paintbrush, and I'm using it to remove all of that excess pigment and flakes. And once you get that all cleaned up, this is what you've got. It really looks like stone with the speckled paint in there and the little vein of color. See, you can see on the side where the gold leaf did embed in it because it wasn't covered with a bunch of other pigments. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. But what it does is it creates these little cracks and crevices, and it just looks so organic and natural. I love it. And stay tuned toward the end because I'm going to show you how I sealed these the wrong way and the better way and a different way that I'm going to do next time. But let's see if we can improve upon this. I'd like there to be more color, more crevices and divots and holes. Make it look more like I've just cracked a geode open, sort of a look. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave what is left on my mold for the next pour and not worry about it. And we're gonna start with some of that diamond glitter glass. And this time I'm gonna crumple up some of the copper leaf and just add it in little chunks, hoping that'll pick it up. But again, I probably put too much stuff over it. And now I'm gonna use this glitter glass, which is a chunkier than glitter. And we're gonna go in with that gold glitter. I'm just repeating the same steps, although I'm gonna put a lot more material down this time because I want more crevices and cracks, which is kind of weird when you think about it, that you want your project to look old and cracked, but that's what I'm going for. I'm going for the natural stone cool look. And I've got these colored glass shards from a project from years ago. This is like a sample kit, but you can find any of these glass colored chunks online on Amazon. All right, what do you think? We've got kind of a lot going on, but let's get our magic pour ready and top this off and see what happens. This time I'm gonna do a little bit more in my mix because I was just shy last time. Mix her up. Put in our acrylic paint. Now, I'm gonna pour starting in the center really slow and work my way out because I don't want the magic pour to push and move my crystals and glitter around too much. So start in the middle and pour right on top and then work your way out from there. And of course, we're gonna jiggle and wiggle our mold a little bit, not too much because I don't want my stuff to move around too much underneath, but just to get any air bubbles out. And you can see I was really impatient. I came to check on this in 30 minutes and it's still curing. It's still damp. This one had a lot more damp in it than my last one. So I went ahead and left this one sit overnight, let it continue to cure. And here is our look before I start excavating. So I know it seems kind of counterintuitive to put all that stuff down and then wipe it away, but you really need to do that if you want to get the cracks and crevices. And you can see that cool glass underneath. I want to see more of it though, so now I'm going to take one of my clay sculpting tools and just pick at it and uncover a little bit more of the glass. I've got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. I feel like I'm mining for gems and gold, but it looks so much better when you excavate and uncover some of those glitters and glasses. I'm loving this one. What do you guys think? Does this look like something you would want to try? And here is a mistake. Learn from me. Be sure you let your eco resin cure all the way. Like let it sit for a day before you start trying to remove the powder, the pigments, or else this will happen. That's right. I just smeared all of my mica powder all over because I was impatient. So that is what will happen if you don't wait until your project is completely cured and dry, like 24 hours at least, before you start trying to take off the excess mica powders and glitters. You'll discolor your whole project and it won't turn out good. Nope, it doesn't. And here's where I made my first mistake, sealing them. So the gal's video that I watched, she used this exact same paint couture resin pour. You don't have to mix two parts or anything, you just pour it. But I think I messed up. I I don't think it's the product's fault, but hers didn't look like this, and I didn't stir it really well. I just kind of tilted the thing back and forth and poured it. Now, I don't know if I didn't pour enough, but this did not turn out like what I was wanting. I wanted these to look more natural, and after watching her video, they really did, but what I ended up with was just this really thick, rubbery gloss. So probably something I did wrong. I even heated it up to try to get it to move around, but it was really thick and it just didn't move much. And you can see this is dry. It's just got lots of ridges. It's imperfect. It feels rubbery. It's just not what I was going for. So I was kind of bummed. I roughed it up with my sandpaper just a little bit, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to put my UV resin over it because that never lets me down. So I'm going to have on my respirator, my gloves, and I also have this special Resinaire's air purifier, which I highly, highly recommend. I turn it on every time I'm working with any of these products to help filter out the VOCs in the air. And I happened to get a new UV light from Let's Resin, and it's double-sided. This is going to come in so handy when I'm doing my jewelry where I'm doing clear backs, because normally I have to flip them back and forth. And it's got this great plexiglass middle tray that you can pop your molds and stuff onto. This is going to be great. My Let's Resin UV resin has never failed me, and I'm just going to put a coat of that right over the top of that other stuff, and we're going to hope for the best. Now, it'd probably be smarter to use epoxy resin if you're going to do this because it would be sturdier, but again, at this point, I am impatient and I just want to fix my mistake. I heat it up a little bit so that it levels out and pop it in my new UV resin light. And this one goes all the way up to 5 minutes. Awesome. So I'm going to pop it in there for 5 minutes. And look we fixed it. It looks so much better. Now, I wasn't going for the glossy look at all. I was wanting it to look more like just natural stone. So although these are pretty and they're usable and I like them, I think next time I'm going to try a different kind of sealer to try to keep the natural stone look and some of the little pockets. This magic pour is not food safe, so make sure that you just use this for like trinket dishes or soap dishes or whatnot. And the other mistake that I made earlier, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but I thought I'd show you. I did put UV resin on it. I tried to sand it. I tried to clean it up to get that mica powder off that I smeared all over because I was impatient and didn't wait for it to fully set before I did that. Well, this is that one. Not great. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's little tutorial crafty video. And I'm pretty excited to use this technique and keep experimenting. It takes some practice, and practice makes perfect. Maybe not perfect in the art world, but you get it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.